What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Quick Entertainment. I'm your host, Hollywood Holguin. Today we're doing an Honest Trailers reaction to Solo, a Star Wars story, a movie that absolutely underperformed at the box office. It's a movie many of us Star Wars fans weren't even asking for, but we got anyways. Had a few surprises here and there. Let's just jump right into this Honest Trailers reaction. This is coming from Screen Junkies. Absolutely love their channel. Link down below. Go check them out. 3, 2, 1. May the Force be with you. Let's get it.
Today's episode is brought to you by the U.S. Army.
All right.
You love the original trilogy with
I really do.
Passion. You went to war over The Last Jedi. Now get ready for a completely new kind of Star Wars movie. One you'll forget by the time you're home from the theater.
Ooh.
Solo, a Star Wars story.
Oh, they were gonna shit over this movie.
It did come out this year, didn't it?
My boy.
They reshot half of their first Star Wars story because they didn't like what the director did. Watch them hand the keys to an exciting new creative team. Then reshoot even more of the movie because they didn't like what the directors did.
You're touchy.
Resulting in a mixed bag that wasn't exactly great, but wasn't exactly terrible. And if that's how Disney plans to bring balance to the Force, just sit me up, fam.
What?
Here for a feature-length adaptation of Han Solo's Wikipedia page. In a film that's less a Han Solo character study and more of an origin story for all of Han Solo's accessories, like his gun, his ship,
The Millennium Falcon.
the little notch in his ship,
Well, what are you doing? That's the escape pod!
his favorite comeback,
I hate you.
and of course, his iconic dice. Since when were the dice such a big deal?
Right? Dude, they like such a big moment now all of a sudden.
It was just a silly background prop. Not everything needs an explanation.
I don't have people. I'm alone.
Solo.
Worst part of the movie.
No one asked for this. Kira with Alden Ehrenreich, a good young actor stuck with the thankless job of playing a young Harrison Ford.
I waited a long time for a shot like this. I'm not about to screw it up, alright?
He'll add new dimensions to the selfish outlaw pilot we met in New Hope by showing us he was never much of an outlaw.
You are the good guy.
And he was never really that selfish.
Damn it.
But boy, did he have a hard-on for being a pilot.
I'm gonna be a pilot. I'm gonna be a pilot. I swore to myself I'd become a pilot. I'm a great pilot. I'll be your co-pilot. We've already got the pilot.
Okay, he wants to be a pilot. We get it already. Anything else? What was his dad like?
He wanted to be a pilot.
Never mind. Let's just go back to learning about his accessories. Where'd he get that vest? Strap in as Han joins a gang of even scruffier nerf herders, like Chewbacca, who eats people now? Beckett, who acts a lot like Woody Harrelson if he got trapped in a Star Wars movie. Kira, who's working for Paul Bettany, but really working with Han, but really working with Darth Maul? You can't triple cross a double cross. You can't triple cross a double cross. Val, the coolest new Star Wars character in the... Never mind. Lando, the Star Wars story we'd all rather see. Except for that part where he's clearly having sex with his droid.
How would that work?
That works.
And L337, who is either an SJW or an offensive satire of wokeness, depending on which part of the internet you like to scream at. When Han Solo is the blandest character in your Han Solo movie, you've got a problem.
Oh yeah.
Nobody cares.
Did you want a darker take on the Star Wars franchise? Well, you've got it. Because this one is so dark, it's hard to see what's happening. Whether the action is hidden in deep blues, muted browns, a kind of drab olive, or Taco Bell beef orange. By the time your eyes adjust, you'll realize everyone in the galaxy is lit like they're in witness protection. Oh, cool. There's the Falcon, I think. Man, this movie is literally the dark side. So catch the first flop of the Disney Star Wars era that froze all the other standalone projects in carbonite.
Unfortunately, my
but gave fans
boys.
a sense of how Han became the character we all know and love by going through the events of Solo. Then at some point off camera before A New Hope, becoming the character we all know and love.
Beckett said he heard about this very big gangster putting together a job.
So what was the point of this movie again? Starring Lone Star, Harry and the Harrelsons, White Man Can't Jump, Light Speed, Z, the sentient being trapped inside the Falcon? Yikes. 6 seasons and a Wookiee? I want candy. Name this character. You can't, can you? Pirates of the Corellian, Samus Aran,
Terrace Kasi.
That crappy PlayStation game is canon now. Half the mall I used to be. And Disney, every time they fire a director in the middle of a production.
Got a really good feeling about this.
Woo!
Cowboy B-flop.
B-flop. Oh man.
Solo.
You know, if Solo isn't his birth name, why did he give it to his kid? And then name him after Luke's hermit friend who he knew for like a day maybe? No wonder he tossed him off that bridge.
None of it makes
Today's
sense.
episode
None of it
was
does.
brought to you by the US
Great
Army.
stuff, man.
Find out more by clicking the link below.
God damn it, I love Screen
What's the matter,
Junkies.
Colonel Sanders? Chicken.
What?
Watermelon is a soup. An explosion a day keeps the Michaels at bay. What makes a hero? Punching an old lady.
We're still talking about Captain Marvel, my boy. Seriously though, Solo, a Star Wars story. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't a terrible movie. I still think Clone Wars is the worst Star Wars movie of all time. But there's just stuff about Solo where you're sitting there and like, you know, Screen Junkie said, what's the point of this movie? You know, it doesn't really take it any new place. It doesn't really add any new stuff to the Star Wars, you know, history or story. If anything, it's just like, it proves our point that a lot of us didn't want a Han Solo origin story. Where our Han Solo was Harrison Ford. We were cool with him being the mysterious scumbag that he was. We fell in love with him. He was awesome. He was charming. And this one, it just felt like they were really trying to get us sold on this guy. And he's a good actor, by the way. You know, he signed up for 3 movies. I don't think they're happening at all. It's unfortunate, you know. I don't think they should have made this. They should have made a Lando origin movie. That would have made more sense. I think people would have been more acceptable to, especially since Childish Gambino is such a huge actor, musician, artist, writer, director. What can Childish Gambino not do? The thing with Solo too, the dice. Look, I gotta be honest with you, boys. The dice. As a Star Wars fan, huge Star Wars fan. If I could give you a tour of my room, you would see I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I never really cared about the dice. The dice became such a big thing on The Last Jedi. And then they brought it back into Solo. Like, I know the dice were part of, like, in the Millennium Falcon. But to me, they were just dice. They didn't have any true meaning to me. I don't recall Solo ever having the dice on him in the original trilogy. If I'm wrong, please sound off in the comment section. Let me know. I just never had this, like, deep connection with the dice. And they made it, like, this big thing in The Last Jedi. And then they brought it back in the origin story. And my whole thing was like, wouldn't his blaster be more of a meaningful thing? Like, I thought a cool thing would have been Luke giving the blaster to Leia and Leia just using or like pointing it at Kylo, and Kylo just knowing that's his father's blaster. That would have been more like to the soul, man. That would have been to the heart, even his best or anything. Like, the dice to me just weren't as important as the other things were. But anyways, guys, look, I just think Solo was a mediocre movie, unfortunately. And unfortunately, as they said, Lucasfilms and Disney has taken a huge halt on making these Star Wars spin-offs. So it may seem like we may never get an Obi-Wan or story or Solo spin-off like we all wanted. We all wanted Solo, we all wanted Boba Fett, and we ended up getting Solo, unfortunately. But anyways, guys, if you like this video, slap the thumb, subscribe, and join the click for daily uploads Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week. Links all that down below in the description. Follow us on Twitter. We're almost at 1,000 Twitter followers. Go check us out. I'll see you guys later on. You guys have a great day. 4 uploads today, my boys. 4. I'll see you guys later on. 2. So eat.